Good evening. We have just concluded the afternoon session here on Thursday of the Baltimore-Washington annual conference session. We got to both beginning to look at resolutions as well as our first ballots for clergy and lay delegates for general conference. So of the petitions that we worked through, we started at the beginning. And so if you have the booklet or you've been following along, you can find these resolutions online or in your pre-conference booklet. The first resolution for a common table, which is to say that all district, regional, and annual conference events, when communion is offered, must offer only gluten-free elements. So there's not different stations, but that every station would be gluten-free. After some discussion and some different discussion of amendments, that was approved. The second resolution, entitled Resolution Supporting Deliberations for New Expressions of Methodism. There were some discussions, amendments. A minor amendment was adopted. A substitute motion was presented, but in the end, all of that was tabled. Resolution to purchase a new Episcopal residence. Again, after discussion, that motion was approved. Resolution for rotating venue and accommodation stipends for annual conference. That one was the one that was approved with a minor amendment. Resolution for unrequested bequest received by Center Street United Methodist Church. There were some amendments made, or there were some changes made by the trustees subsequent to the publishing of that in the pre-conference journal, so that as it was presented to conference, it was that the amount of that unrestricted bequest would go to non-urban ministry in Allegheny County, and that was approved. That was as far as that was, so that we got through resolution 5. One of those was tabled, so we had 4 resolutions that were approved, and so we have a number of resolutions that we'll need to look at tomorrow. At the end of our time together, we did 1 laity ballot and 1 clergy ballot. There were no elections on either ballot. In order for a clergy person to be elected, they need 50% plus 1, and so first we elect our 6 general conference delegates. Laity vote for their 6, clergy vote for their 6. And so that's kind of complicating entering in on the electronic voting, and we had a lot of trouble with that system. It usually kind of fits and starts when we first start the balloting, but it certainly took a lot more time than we anticipated. So we got 1 ballot for each, and it really took a lot of time. Hopefully tomorrow that goes a lot faster because people are more familiar with the units. But again, nobody was elected. You know, when you see basically what happens, you vote for 6 people and they display the numbers, and then people go and reassess because people have noted down in their book what 6 people they want to vote for general conference, and then that first ballot is really telling because then people will go back and they'll see maybe somebody who wasn't one of their top 6 was elected higher up than they anticipated, so they might shift their vote and say, well, this person that I like for general conference, maybe I'll save them for jurisdictional conference, and so the voting could change significantly between the first and second ballot because of how people reassess not only who they want, but the likelihood of their preferred candidates getting elected, and trying to figure out how to do that. Again, because you're not just voting for the person you like the best, but if there are 6 spots, you vote for 6. Once we have elections, then let's say we have an election on the laity ballot on the next ballot, then the laity will vote for 5, and they'll just keep going until all 6 are elected. We don't move on to vote for the additional jurisdictional delegates until all 6 of the delegates on that side, so all 6 laity or all 6 clergy are elected. And then, of course, after we do 6 and 6, each side will elect 4 alternates. So that was the work that we did this evening. Folks are breaking for dinner. There's some special group dinners, and then we'll be reconvening for the memorial service at 7 o'clock. The Reverend Ianther Mills is going to be preaching at that service as we honor clergy spouses, and lay members to annual conference who have died in the past year. That's going to be at 7 o'clock. And we will be reconvening for session tomorrow, as we did today, I believe at 8:30. And so we'll start with Bible study and then move into business at 9:30. And so all of that information is available online. It will be very interesting to look and see how the second ballot goes, because again, sometimes there's a good bit of movement between between the first and second ballots, and everybody starts getting anxious to have elections. That becomes the other thing, is people are looking at who they like and who they like best, but also people just want to get people elected and not be balloting forever. So watch for that tomorrow if you're following along at home, or if you're here to see how those numbers move and how the members, lay and clergy members, might be reassessing given the results of the first ballot. So that's the update from this evening. I don't anticipate posting another update about the memorial service. You can follow that on the live stream, but I may pop up, and there's a group of folks who are going to be packing meals, so we may try to check in on that, and if so, we'll fill you in on how that work is going this evening. Thanks.